So to value a startup, you have to think like an investor. How does an investor think about investing in startups? Well, in my experience, investors think of investing in startups something similar to investing or buying a lottery ticket. And in order to, now, we know that most of the lottery tickets are going to be losers. But every once in a while, somebody gets a winning ticket and they make a lot of money. That's the way that we value that the startups are valued. Most people don't necessarily make a big distinction between the nature of the lottery ticket. We don't even know what our precise odds of winning are. We just buy lottery tickets, we scratch them, or we pick numbers, and they either win or they don't. And just like in the lottery, most angel investors, when they make investments, know that most of their investments are not going to work out. From an angel capital perspective, if they succeed on 20% of their investments, that's actually a very high success rate. So with this in mind, the way that I approach valuing startups is how much would I pay for that lottery ticket? Investors know that all startups, or at least the ones they're considering investing in, are promising very high returns and carry with them very high risk. Maybe some carry some slightly higher or lower returns than the average. Maybe some companies carry slightly higher or lower risk than the average. But at the end of the day, they're still buying that lottery ticket. How do we know what the value of that lottery ticket is? Well, we know the value of the lottery ticket by reviewing the valuations that have been reported for early stage startup investments, which we can find sometimes through Google or using professional databases such as CrunchBase or PitchBook or Capital IQ or other databases that are out there. And so if we can observe the valuations for similar startups in a similar industry within a relatively short time frame, say the last 2 or 3 years up to the present date, and maybe accounting for factors such as how old the company is, whether they're truly pre-revenue, and where they're located in the country, because, for example, startups tend to generate a higher value in Silicon Valley than they do, say, Atlanta, then we can generate a set of comps similar to what you might be familiar with in real estate. And from that comp set, we can then analyze those valuations to infer what an appropriate value might be for our startup. It's not going to be as precise a valuation methodology as many other valuation methods. However, it does have the benefit of being consistent with the way actual investors decide to commit their capital. And to me, I think that's a very meaningful consideration. My job as an appraiser is to do the best I can to replicate how buyers and sellers of assets actually behave. Now, a related way to do this, if you don't have access to these professional databases, is to look at the public markets. It turns out that in the public markets in the United States, Canada, Europe, and Israel, there are thousands of pre-revenue or very low revenue startups that are traded every day. Sometimes these are called pink sheet companies. Sometimes these are called bulletin board companies. Whatever the name is, though, they are effectively publicly traded startups. And you can find their effective venture capital style of valuation by simply looking up their market capitalization, which is the total number of shares times the price per share, and subtracting the amount of cash that's on the balance sheet. In doing so, you're actually computing what's called a pre-money valuation, or a valuation before money is added to the balance sheet, which is similar or almost identical to the way valuations are stated in the venture capital markets. So this gives you another set of data points that you can use to attempt to produce a reliable valuation of a startup that is also unbiased and is tied to the market. My name is Mike Blake, and I help my clients solve questions just like these. If you're interested in learning about this further, please leave a comment below or contact me through social media.